Welcome to All Things Business Book Review. We're so excited, and we're going to go in for the next 5 weeks. We're going to go into the greatest networker in the world, and you could do this with network marketing. You could also do it with real estate or any other business, but the philosophy is so amazing. And I'm just so excited about this coming on with this book. And also, just a little FYI, my book just got released a week ago, The Entrepreneur Mindset to Wealth. Go pick it up. It's on Barnes and Amazon. I'm sorry. And with that said, let's get our guest in. Who's going to be going to the book review with us. We're so excited. Ms. Rutherford, are you there, please, dear?
I am, Mr. Thomas. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
On that new book.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate that. Ms. Kathleen Williams in Sacramento.
Good evening, Mr. Thomas. Good evening, Ms. Rutherford.
Good evening. We also have the Miss Jackie Black, who is also in Connecticut. I'm sorry.
Good evening, Mr. Thomas.
Miss Jackie Black.
Yes. Good evening, Miss Williams, Miss Rutherford. Glad to see you again.
Good evening, Miss Black.
And last, but definitely not least, out of Fresno, California, the great Mr. Harrison Mills.
Hello, ladies and gent.
How you doing, sir?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Good. I hope everybody's ready to dive in. Folks out there, we want you guys to dive in. If you have the book, you can pick it up and join us. We're going to go through chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 tonight. This is one of the greatest books about networking in the world. So called The Greatest Networker in the World. Matter of fact, John Milton Fogg and I had a chance to share some time on the stage together years ago. And this book is a classic. It's a classic book on how to build a downline, and also in wave 4. I was also mentioned in wave 3. But I want to go in this book tonight. We're going to dive into the first chapter here. Matter of fact, chapter 1 is labeled The End. And I'm going to read the first paragraph here. I'll never forget that evening. It was the night I first met the greatest networker in the world. I've heard a number of very successful networkers said since. That night, my life changed for the better forever. Wow. First, I suppose I should tell you what my life was like at that point. I've been involved with this particular network marketing company for a little over 4 months and have done very well. In fact, it was looking a lot like a bad joke. So a lot of times when people get involved with network marketing or insurance or any kind of sales, it's a learning curve. And it wasn't going so well for him. So I'm gonna drop back down to the last sentence here on the bottom of the page. It says, I was working 30 hours per week part-time, all my evenings and most of my weekends. And what I had to show for it was a small profit of $150 to $200 a month. So I want to let us comment on this, Ms. Rutherford. What did you get out of that part when he first started? Because when people first start, they have to understand, they have to learn. And it takes a while to understand the techniques and the things, take the time to learn and also plant that seed like a plant for it to grow. You want to comment on that?
Well, yes. We live in a microwave society and people want it right now, and unfortunately, success is not always speedy, although success loves speed. So it was interesting how he was just at the point of stopping. And I know you said a many a time to keep going because your success is on the other side of that.
That's so true. Thank you. That's a good comment. People don't realize that they want instant, like I say, we live in instant world, instant coffee, instant food, microwave this, microwave that, rather than taking time to grow in something legitimate. Anything worth having, as one of my quotes, anything worth having takes time. Ms. Kathleen Williams, you want to comment?
The big thing that popped out to me was the fact that he said that he was doing 30 hours a week part-time, evenings and weekends. For me, one of the things popped out was, didn't somebody tell you that that's the way you build this, evenings and weekends around your current schedule? Apparently not. And for a lot of network marketers, $150 to $200 a month starting out may not be that bad.
No, it really isn't, because I'm going back to my first check when I got involved in network marketing for my first company. And I remember I was out there blowing and going, doing everything I could. And I called my girlfriend up at the time and I told her, hey, listen, my first check came. We all know what a check looked like. And I took it and I put it on top of the fireplace mantle. I got the letter opener out. And when she came in, I gave her the letter open. The doorbell rang about 7 o'clock. I told her I was going to take her out to dinner, nice French restaurant. And the doorbell rang about 7 o'clock. Ding dong. It was her. And I walked over there. You know, first of all, I walked over there and opened the door. If I opened the door, I made sure and I got my breath ready. So I had to get my little, okay, I'm ready. I opened the door and she looked good. Oh my gosh, she smelled good. I was like proud. I said, come on, let me show you something. I strutted over there to the fireplace mantle. I gave her the check. I gave her the letter opener. And she did one of these numbers, looked down. She went, shh, looked, opened the check. And her eyebrows went, I looked over her shoulders. My eyebrows went, My first check was much bigger than this. My check was smaller than this one. My first check was $3.70. My first residual check in network marketing back in those days. And she looked at me and she said, I guess we're going to Jacques in the Box. But watch this. That was the first one. But way over there years later in that company, I could buy a house with that check residually. But mine was $3.70. Miss Jackie Black, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Thomas. When you're just starting out, you just don't know everything. And this gentleman said, I couldn't get anyone interested in my business opportunity. He's starting to see you're going to get lose at first. But you have to hang in there. A profit of $150 to $200 a month that he received. Like you, Mr. Thomas, it wasn't a lot at first, but you have to hang in there. You can't quit because you're going to keep growing, personal development, etc. Then you'll say, I remember that time.
That's right. Thank you, dear. You know, you're going to go through a lot of no's, folks.
There you go.
You keep going. And as the Bible said, knock the sound off the sound to go to the next door. And after a while, it's like on to the next one. They say no, it's on to the next one. Mr. Harrison Mills, I'm going to go over here to page 2, the 2 paragraphs down from the bottom. He says his clothes were expensive, British suits with real buttonholes, great floral tie, and a breast pocket scarf, quietly but noticeably picking up and through the burgundy red and the tie. Yes. He had a nice gold Rolex Oyster on watch peeking through beneath his cufflinks. So he was successful. In those days, you show success by dressing the part, looking the part. What do you say about that, Mr. Mills?
You know, the first thing is, let me just say that the very beginning of this, when he already said life-changing, he's showing you the life-changing part. It kind of reminds me of this, and this is probably more of a guy move. But you know that nice car smell, that new car smell? You first get into the car and it's like, you feel the leather, you feel this, you know, some guys, they can, open up the hood, let me check that out, and it sparkles. And this is what I see. As he sees this is the life-changing part. It's like this. I don't know what new car smells on a person, but this is what I'm sure this is what it looks like. And so that's what I got from it. And so just even from this part on, and just being able to reflect is saying, hey, I felt like a bad joke. I said, let me kick off my shoes for a second. I think this is going to be a good little read. I want to say, because I started to see myself. So it took me a moment just to actually, you know what? I think I don't know if this is going to be, I didn't know what kind of book this was going to turn out to be, but I was ready for the stories. When I saw the detail in that, I was like, oh, okay, this man can tell a story. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's thank you, sir. It's detailed, and it's also one of these kind of books you could get a cup of coffee or something nice, some tea or whatever, and cuddle up on the couch and really get into it, because how he describes everything in detail is very detail oriented. This, ladies and gentlemen around the world that listen to this, because he goes into it and makes you feel like it puts you in the present. You're right there with them. Do you guys get the same feeling? So with that, I love that he showed him success, and he took him out to dinner and went to the restaurant. He walked into the restaurant. The maitre d' knew who he was. The servers knew who he was. He was like, wow, this guy's somebody special. And that's what it's all about, making people feel special. So when he walked in with this guy, he made him feel special. Miss Rutherford, you want to kind of share something about that?
Well, even before he got to the restaurant, he made the valet feel special.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times our cousins will look at what vehicle we drive or not. And yet when he got to the vehicle, you know, it wasn't a Lamborghini, it wasn't a Maserati. It was a dependable pickup truck. See? And so for a lot of materialistic people, they would have said, well, what the what? But as you said, the man had on a Rolex. And when he got to the restaurant, he was well known. And they didn't think he was going to run out the door. So he could definitely afford dinner. But he had the lifestyle that he wanted. That's important.
Yeah, that's very important. And another good point you brought about the pickup truck, which I thank you for bringing that up, Ms. Rutherford. Sam Walton was a billionaire. He ran around Little Rock, Arkansas in his little pickup truck. He didn't care. He knew who he was on the inside. And that's saying that with the never mark. He knew who he was on the inside, but he represented on the outside, but he knew who he was in here. And when he walked to the restaurants, he got all the respect, even though he drove the pickup. That was his style. That's what he wanted. Miss Kathy Williams, you want to comment?
And the thing is that, as Ms. Rutherford pointed out, is many people look at the materialistic things that you can get with network marketing and not the internal peace and self-growth and personal satisfaction you can get by helping so many other people. You don't care.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember when I got involved, I had a diesel. I had a Mercedes 300D diesel. And people, they used to clown me. My dad said, man, you making all that money. Why are you driving an diesel, old diesel? I was happy with that diesel. It was paid for. And then I remember a gentleman in our organization, one of the other regional directors, Mr. Jay Smith, was at the airport, and he slipped and he hit his head against the podium there at the airport, and he died. And I said, wow, when I got off the road that next week, I'm going right to the Mercedes dealership on Howe Avenue. My salesman name is Chip, but I'm buying a brand new Mercedes. I bought a little SL that day. I said, that could have been me. So I started enjoying it. But I always thought I didn't need to prove it. But in network marketing, it's good to show some success because people are drawn to that. Real powerful. Thank you so much for that. Miss Jackie Black, you want to comment? Miss Black?
Yes, Mr. What is said is so true. People will dress how you a lady, the shoes are shot, and they make an opinion about you. Then walk out. They look at that, as Miss Rutherford said, the Lamborghini or the Ferrari. They're like, oh, shucks, what's going on? And they may hoopty. I'm sure many people have heard of hoopty, but that hoopty could be paid for.
Exactly.
And it's dependable, and you have to look at, okay, yes, you're addressing the role, and people when they went into the restaurant, and they're special, and that's how we ought to make people feel special. Something that many people don't, they don't care about. And network marketing, we care about how you feel. Yes, we look like, but it's more important. How am I making you feel?
Yeah. It's so funny as you say that. I was going back. I remember I was doing 60 grand, 100 grand a month, 169,000 a month back in those days. And I'm driving an old, and I thought about why am I driving this diesel? And my downline said, you make all this money. Why you got a diesel? You live in a mansion. So I went out, and it's so funny, it's on my desk. So I went out and bought that SL. And then I started doing contests, and I bought another SL to match it. And I was in there getting the car service, and they had a 4-door to match. So here's the pictures on my desk right here. So I had all 3 Mercedes, all 3 of them matched. They're all the same color, exterior and interior. So yeah, it's so crazy. My check jumped up. It almost tripled the next month because I was driving something successful. Their belief level went through the roof. And it's amazing because people in network marketing back then, they thought they had to see it to believe that you were successful. I already knew within myself, I didn't need it, but I knew that my team needed to see it. So then what I started doing is contests where let's say somebody I did a contest, you won the contest, you get to drive whichever Mercedes for the whole week. Do you realize what that did for people to pull up their house with a Mercedes and their friends saw them driving a Mercedes for a week? And next week you got to requalify a week later to keep getting it, or Miss Williams got it, or Miss Black got it. Man, you just got to get it back. So I mean, I understood how to motivate people through the blessings of the industry, because it's some things you have to show. I'm going to go this, Mr. Harrison Mills. On the last paragraph on page 5, we kind of talked about this, but I want to kind of go over it again. And when he said he expected the network marketer to drive up in something exotic and certainly something expensive, so he was quite shocked when the doorman greeted him and walked out and opened up the passenger side of what I guess was a mid-1970 pickup truck, painted simple in a gray primer, no less. And he said, I guess he was disappointed because he expected to have something exotic. And I think a lot of times in life, especially when you get involved, we put people on a pedestal when we think they should drive. And I had to overcome that too. Mr. Harrison Mills, let me do this. And on the top of page 6, it says, it wasn't a Mercedes, it wasn't a Porsche, maybe it might have been a Rolls Royce. He laughed, he laughed about it as he entered the hotel. You want to comment on that, sir?
You know what? He's probably just looking at what he saw modeled before. I'm sure he saw a couple of other people that were in that high network. This is the status. Where's the, give me the gems, the jewels, give me the, all the, ooh la las, everything. And then here he comes in this, pickup truck. And if it was me and I saw him, I probably would have looked and said, humble. Okay. Because I guess the one thing is you're pulling on the pickup truck at a fancy restaurant where everyone knows you. So something's off. 1 + 2 don't equal 3. Something's wrong. So, I would have been trying to figure out what's going on. So all I could have said is humble, or it's in the shop. They gave you the request, the pickup truck from the Mercedes place. What do they call it? The courtesy car.
The courtesy car, yeah. Like I said in the book, Entrepreneur Mindset to Wealth, that's at Amazon. I talked about me moving out of the gated community with the Bentley and the nice cars into what I call and nothing wrong with pickup truck neighborhood, because I want to stretch myself. So it's important. I didn't need all that because after a while having it's materialistic. It didn't make me who I was as a person. But I know people need to see that for success. I don't even drive that stuff anymore. I drive a 2004 Escalade. I mean, I don't care. I don't care. And it goes down here a little bit further. It talked about Sam Walton, the richest man in America, worth $22 billion, and he drove a pickup truck. We just talked about that a little while ago. And he tipped a guy as he pulled up in his pickup truck. He gave him a $10 bill for bringing his pickup truck that had primer on it as he left the hotel. Ms. Rutherford, you want to talk about that?
Well, depending on what year that was, $10 was like $50 back then. I mean, when I was 8 years old, my grandfather paid me $25 to work the weekend. And I felt like I had hit the lotto that hadn't come out yet. I mean, it's all relative to what you deem necessary. So for you to have a guy, and the nice part about this greatest networker, he not only was a nice guy at the restaurant, but he wanted to know about that valet. He had helped him secure other financing. He wanted to know how those connections, those conduits that he had served as, they were serving that young man. So I think what I took away from all of that was that people must really feel that you care about them. And I think that that's what he conveyed to everybody that he came in contact with.
Yeah, thank you. I like also on the bottom of page 6, he was vision casting on the bottom of page 6, the last sentence. It says, I got a great group going in San Antonio, and I was thinking I'm going down there in a few months. After that, who knows, Germany, Japan, on top of page 70. Let me know your plan. So he was vision casting with the young man. Hey, grow a group in your own backyard, but your group honestly would be bigger somewhere else. The Bible tells us a prophet does not want its own land, which is true. You could stay in your city, but your group could grow bigger somewhere else, but just start and stay focused. Go ahead and comment on that, Ms. Williams.
And it's very true. As if you don't stay focused, nothing grows. You don't water the plant, you don't give it water, you don't give it sunlight, nothing grows. But when it starts growing, watch out because it will take over everything.
Yeah, so true. You know, I could be in Sacramento, which I'll be this weekend. Looking forward to seeing this weekend when I come to Sacramento this Saturday. You could take a magnifying glass, the hottest day in any town that you ladies and gentlemen live in, and with a piece of paper, I could just do this. It will never burn a hole in it because it's not focused. The moment you stop it on a sunny day, it'll hit that paper and it catch on fire. So you have to be focused, people around the world, no matter what you're involved with. Stay put, focus. It doesn't work overnight. It doesn't take. You can put a plant or seed in the ground. It doesn't grow the next day. And don't keep digging up, looking at it, digging. It's never going to grow. Leave it there, nourish it, water it, give it sunshine, and keep the negative people away from you. All right, Miss Jackie Black.
As you're saying, Mr. Thomas, have to nourish it while you're staying laser focused. You stay laser focused with your plant. Brown leaves, you're like, and you may use this modern technology where you go to plant finder, and find out what's wrong with your plant instead of some people just digging it up. And just like with this story, with the world's greatest networker, the paid attention to detail, everyone he came in contact with, and he was very humble himself. And by him being humble, and even his tone, people were paying attention to that. I feel good. And that's how we should be with everything that we do. Attention to the details. Pay attention. Like, the gentleman gave him a tip. He's like, some people would say, oh, that's too little, or that's not enough, or, they may have their own opinion of it. But we don't know what other people were tipping. Some people wouldn't even give a tip. So it's important to stay focused, pay attention, and grow on the inside.
Right. And also pay attention to the people that you're with. I love it. Miss Harrison Mills, I'm gonna give you the gamma and let you go for it because I know you've got.
Okay, I was waiting for the next question. I just knew you were gonna
give me. Let me go on the next question. And on top of page 8, next question on top of page 8. He said, we entered the restaurant with the maitre d', and the greatest networker appeared to be the very best of friends. And I noticed the smile exchange passing constantly between the host and the waiters and the customers. We also took their seats and noticed he certainly lived in a different world than I do. Wow. Go ahead, Mr. Mills.
Isn't it kind being kind? Just that alone, just dwelling on that. I guess I say this, there's so many things that we can focus, as you were saying, negative. There's so many, we have, I don't know how many thoughts. We have a lot of thoughts in one day, right? And most of them are negative thoughts. And here it is, this man is showing us what will happen just actually your presence, the positive of it, the complimenting someone, just a compliment, just by saying hello to someone could change someone's whole full day. And I'm thinking this is exactly what it is. People not just know him, but they're excited to see him because they know it's going to be well-pleasing. Anything that comes in from this man.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. I love that. Thank you, sir. That was powerful. And I also like how you walked through and everybody knew. Like you said, everybody knew. I think about some restaurants here that I can go in like, boom. I got my favorite restaurants. I got my favorite waiters, and I call them ahead of time. And that's, I can relate to this. And I love what he also said. The young man noticed, the last sentence he said, notice this. He said, you certainly live in a different world than I do. So what was it great networker doing? He was pulling this young man up to his world to let him see something, to experience some things that he's never experienced in his life. He was here again, vision casting to show him his potential future if you pay attention and grab hold and do the things that give you to do. Wow. Miss Rutherford.
I got to thinking about the fact that from the very moment he met that man, he was being stretched.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he might not have realized it, but he was being stretched away from the ideology of quitting. He was being stretched away and learning the characteristics of a great networker. And one of those things that really struck my soul was when that man laughed, It was described as him laughing from the soles of his feet. So his whole body would erupt in laughter. And as Harrison just said, in today's world, mental illness is a real thing. Depression is a real thing. So to be able to come and, as Miss Jackie Black said, plant, and you as well, plant these seeds of happiness. It might have been the first time all day that somebody had laughed like they did in that restaurant.
Wow. Wow, it's powerful. I'm gonna jump over here to page 10. Miss Kathleen Williams, the first, it says, I suppose I was a pioneer in a way back then. So he's talking about he was a pioneer. And I'm gonna drop down a little bit. He says, yeah, I'm a pioneer, because he talked about the things he did. The pioneers came over in covered wagons. As you look at pioneers, they came over in covered wagons, and they went through the broken glass, the barbed wire. They went through getting shot at with the Indians, but they kept saying, go west, young man, go west. But pioneers. And when you're a pioneer, you stand out, you're lone wolf maverick, you're doing things differently, and you're leading the way to show other people it could be done. I think about Roger Bannister when he broke the 4-minute mile, and also everybody started doing it. But to take a pioneer to stand out, to be the first person to graze it. Like when I do downhill skiing and get the first snow of the day down that first run, because you're the first one to break through the powder, which is amazing. So he's a pioneer. You want to go ahead and comment on that, Ms. Williams?
And the other thing is backing up to page 9, the greatest networker pointed out, you were a pioneer, and yet the gentleman didn't see himself as a pioneer. And when I read it, it's like, yeah, I remember a whole bunch of those people being hackers back those days, because the computers had just come out.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't consider themselves pioneers. They got labeled as hackers. But yeah, they were.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna now, Miss Jackie Black. I'm gonna go down here a little bit, halfway, the second paragraph at the bottom of page 10 a little bit. He says he didn't say a word. In other words, he was so impressed with what the network marketer said. He said he just leaned forward even slightly to turn his head to the right and toward me just a bit, and he wanted to make sure he caught every symbol that came out of his mouth, because he was there learning. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They want blah, 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 blah. Listen, when you get around successful people, there's a reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Just be quiet and listen, Linda. Listen, and get your mental tape recorder going and write it down or get it in your mind. Go ahead, Ms. Black.
Yes, Mr. Thomas, it's so important to listen when we're around someone that knows more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Paying attention. Even in reading part of it, he said how it was an intriguing expression, expectant, as if he were waiting to hear what I'd say next. That greatest networker, he was intently listening to what he was saying. And that's when you see that, where people are like, wow, he's really concerned about me, concerned about what I'm saying, not how I'm saying, but what I'm saying, and trying to understand before. And that's how we should be. We should listen when around someone knows more, and just have the great networker really, like, you lean in, like you want to hear more. And his expressions showed sincerity. People can lean in and don't be sincere. They don't care. This person, he cared about what he was saying. And his honesty was transparent. Transparent.
Yes, very good. Transparent. That's what leaders do. They listen. They listen. They don't talk a lot. They listen. When I get around, I can tell the difference when I'm getting a crowd of people I don't. I can tell who the leader are and who the talkers. The talker's always trying to impress people. The listener's sitting there listening. Don't say a word. Mr. Harrison Mills, I'm going to go to top of page 11. Man, this is so powerful. He said, and I quote, I just want to be a success. And he talked about he wanted to be a success because he wanted more. He was sick and tired of being the same. And it says that I'm so sick and tired of being the same, not having money that I wanted to give to my wife and my kids the things that they deserve, like going to Disneyland. Comment on that, Mr. Mills. Lord have mercy.
And it was the way he said it. I'm sick and tired of the sameness. As though he's just stifled, as though it was just stale. with it. But the cool thing is this is a place for me to just relate and just go with. I didn't want, really was I wanted to connect with him in whatever way. I want to put myself in his shoes and move myself and say, what can I learn? And now I have my listening ears on, and just intently, it was almost as though this network marketer set us up to say, listen intently with what he's about to say. And another thing he put through this whole main part of it, it was almost like he wants to listen to what was his framing. That's a new word for me, so that I can reframe it. And so even just he's showing us all the way through the server, the front desk staff. Is this person important enough? That's the old frame. But the reframing is everyone I meet is someone I'm meant to encourage, someone I need to connect with, someone I need to elevate with those things. So here's another part where it's like this. He's almost looking at the assignment. Here's the project. And he sits there and he analyzes him and says, okay, so sameness. 1, what's the next thing? 2.
I love it, sir. Thank you. I'm going to go over to page 12, and halfway down the page 12, he said he drove back to the hotel where the meeting was finished. And I'm going to paraphrase here a little bit. And after 4 or 5 questions, he turned to him and says, hey, have a good night. And he said he left me next to my car and said good night and drove off in his truck. And he said he stayed there and he watched him drove off in his truck for a while. And then he turned and got his keys out, and then he gave him a book. And he opened the book up, unraveled the book. And when he got in the car, he unraveled the book. And it had beautiful foil on it. The book had a great writing on it in deep green, glossy cover. And it said this: what do you know that you don't know? What you know, what you don't know that you don't know. And that's what I love, this part right here. I opened the book up with tremendous excitement, flipped through the pages quickly. After 10 or 12 pages, stopped cold. And there was not a word in it. Every page of the book was totally blank. Miss Rutherford, I know you got something to say about that.
Man, you know what? I fell out laughing on the inside of myself because we've been told we only use 1/10 of our brain. When it comes down to the vastness of this universe and all the other universes out there that the Creator has created, guess what? We don't know nothing. We barely know what our name is and all of that. But that was a very valuable lesson. I never think that I know it all. I make it a point to learn something every day. And now I know that there's a book out here. Yeah, I know it's a book out here that I might be able to abridge and sell with nothing on the pages. Because when somebody is honest, they'll be able to put something in that chapter and this chapter every day. It'll be like a working journal, a living journal of what you don't know.
Yeah. What he was trying to get across to the young man is this. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The journal was, now you go fill the pages up. You know why? When I do calls every day, I have journals. I can go back years. Even my appointment books, I can reach in this drawer here, and I'm going to reach and grab a few, not just your journals, but even my appointment books for the last every year. I got hundreds of them. I got years and years and decades of them. Why? Because you fill them up. So you're trying to tell them, here's in the book. I want you to take this and I want you to fill it up with your experiences, because your experiences are going to be in here. And this is why I gave it to him. The pages were blank because he wanted to fill his notes up like that. So that way he can share his experiences as a leader, as he became a leader. And that's why I always tell leaders are readers, but leaders and people, when they come, you take notes because you got something you go refer back to and train from. It's powerful, very powerful. Miss Kathleen Williams, go ahead.
And the fact that it is blank and we can all write what we've learned, but it also triggers the thought process of, wait a minute, what don't I really know that I don't really know? How big is the universe? How small is an atom? It's things that just I don't know what's going on in the people at the restaurant's life, but if I can make them laugh, make someone smile.
Yeah. Thank you, dear. I'm going to go down halfway down the page, and he was talking about how he started writing stuff down hundreds of times, thousands of times. And he asked himself, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Actually, there was nothing wrong with him. Miss Jackie Black, go ahead, dear.
When I read that, Mr. Thomas, I fell out laughing. You open a book and you're expecting words, you know. You're getting all comfy.
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute. Going through it. Something's wrong here. But I look at that and I say, it's blank because you fill it in with your journey. That's how we start our journey. Like when we host different trainings that I'm on, especially giving us them golden nuggets. But in this book, there were no golden nuggets yet written on his journey from lessons. And that's how we all start. We all start the same. But
Yeah.
it's staying on your, we don't know what the end is going to be, but you have to stay on it. You may go this way, that way, but it's your journey. And how are you going to
Amen.
put in?
Yes. And we all have that. We all come in the world with an empty journal. What's your story going to be? Here's one of mine. It's my second book. I'm writing my journey down, but now I'm giving people experience. Miss Harrison Mills, give us your insights, sir. I'm sorry.
I got upset. I'm just be honest with you. Hey, look, let me say this. I enjoy a good book. So if you tell me it's a book, I would have threw that book and said, "Man, you gave me a fortune cookie. What's this?" You know, if it's a journal, this is where I become literal. If it's a journal, let me know it's a journal. I'll be ready for it. I'm ready to read a book. And then you tell me what I know that I don't know. I'm like, okay, I gotta sit it down. You gotta talk to me. I wouldn't even went any further. That's me. You know, I probably would have thought about it later, a little bit second time. But the first time, I'm ready to dive in the book, you know? So that
But
was me. So I said I would have got frustrated.
well, that's true though. A lot of people will, that's pretty, thank you for sharing that, because some people will get frustrated. He was trying to tell him then, sit back, think about where you want to go that you don't know, and now go make it happen and write it down. So he was teaching. It's almost like the Karate Kid when he told Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. He thought he was going to teach him in classroom style, but he was out there, thought he was washing and waxing his cars until he got in the ring. He said, "Daniel's on, wax on, wax on." Oh my God, I do know karate. So it's a different way of teaching and a different style of teaching.
Yeah, I just need a prep. That's all I ask for. Give me don't do that. Let me know. Don't do me that way, because I'm expecting a book.
All right, let's go over to chapter 2 now. To speak the truth. To speak the truth. Man, that's page 15. It was so exciting. It was Friday, 3:30, and what happened, Miss Rutherford?
Well, he was invited to come to this man's house, and so he hurried up. And I don't know if he was related to you, Mr. Thomas, but he got to that man's house an hour early. I know you say that when you arrive on time, you're late. So he was there a whole hour ahead of time. And, where his house was located and situated said volumes about him. And, again, I really enjoyed the detailing because I like to house watch, quite honestly. And the very fact that when he got there, it was such a beautiful setting, and that he had some of my favorite animals there, being horses. And so one came over and, wanted to be his friend. Horses are very discerning about people's nature, by the way. So he must have been a pretty good person. And I think that the networker discerned that as well during the time that he was forming him. But yeah, I like houses that aren't piled up on top of each other. So I would have fallen in love with that house.
Yes, that was I love the description of it. I can picture this in my mind when I read it. I still remember it. I'm going to go to the second paragraph here. It says, it was pretty good idea at the house. He said, when he told them, he said, you would turn down the hill beyond the pond. He's telling description of it. Beyond the pond, through the trees, as soon as you turn onto Huckleberry Lane and saw the long gray, it's very descriptive, long gray 4-boarded wooden fence on the right. So he made it so descriptive.
Mhm.
Stop your car. And he told, and the horses and all that. So he was very descriptive. And then on the next page over, it says the grounds were all looked quite manicured and they were all put in good shape. And it was like amazing. So here again, he goes into a lot of, in these 2 pages, very descriptive on the property he lived on. And when I sit back, I can just visualize that, how beautiful it had to be outside of town like that. Miss Kathleen Williams, you want to comment?
Being a country girl, yes, I can easily visualize it. But the other thing is the fact that the networker already had some idea of what the writers. This was literally what and it's card carrying estate. Yes, it was. It's beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful. Thank you, dear. I'm gonna go to page 18, like the 2 paragraph. He said, I have a dream of owning a place like this, very much like this, the horses, the house, the trees, the field. So he was casting, here again, vision casting, by coming out and seeing what's potentially possible for you. Folks, I'm telling you around the world, this is possible for you as well if you put the time and effort into it. Miss Jackie Black.
Oh, yeah. Yes. As I was picturing it myself, and even clothes there, that's there. And what I got out of it is further down, he said, how did he put it? The network asked him, would you?
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't answer. You like to buy it. If we were asked that and we saw that beautiful thing in our mind, but that, would you like? Then further down, it says, he says, irritating and letting it show you it. Don't have that kind of money. But I asked them money for. He just asked him, would you like it? We have to pay attention to what we're being asked. So used to thinking, oh, I can't afford this because shit.
You know,
so he got a big surprise. He had a wake-up call.
A lot of people in life do that.
Go ahead,
everybody. A lot of people do that. They put a no before they even hear the price, and then he put a price on it after he didn't ask them, and then he kind of asked what's worth. It's 2.6 million or 2.5 million. But here again, this story, when I read this back through it again, it reminded me of a friend of mine who just 2.6 million. A friend of mine, bought a place a year ago and he paid 2.6 million, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's drop dead gorgeous. He bought it with all the furniture in it, everything, a brand new house, brand new. It's like, okay, you can stay here the rest of your life. Gorgeous. So last month he called me and you coming by for dinner. And I said, well, what's going on? He said, I said, same home? No. I'm down the street from that home. I bought another home. I said, what's the gate code to this one? Watch this. I'm going to teach you. He says, no gate code to this one. I have to come down and unlock the gate. I said, what? He said, I have to come down and unlock the gate. So when I get to the house, it's like a block by half a block. It's a compound. 14-car garage, cigar lounge. It's $11 million house. He paid 5.6 million for it. Same thing with this story.
Love it.
So he elevates Dreamcasting. Mr. Harrison Mills, I see you over there. You can't wait. Mr. Mills, look, he's over. He's in the story.
Would you like to buy it?
Yes.
That's what I hear from that.
And by the way, the second house, he bought all the furniture in that one as well. And the other one's down the street. I said, I guess you're going to keep that for the helper. I don't know. Just go ahead.
Too neat. It's already, it looks like this is the reason why I like books, the detail of it, but it puts you in a place. It reminds me of one thing, another book that we reviewed, More Than Beach Money, with Jordan Adler. And he did the same thing, reframing you into a different mindset. He gives you the details of the beach or what it is. And this man is doing the same thing with the house, showing you, here you are. And then he asks that question, would you like to buy it? Meaning this, as the way I took it, I see you as my equal. All you have to do is just change in the way that you think. Just change it. And that's all he was saying, and he said it in that one sentence, would you like to buy it? And he challenged him, you're lying. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, so I'm all for it. And talk about upgrading your friends.
Yeah. It's also upgrading the way you think. And a lot of times we get comfortable not upgrading. You know what I used to do on the weekends before I bought my first mansion? I would get in the car and drive on the weekends to the nice neighborhoods, and they had open houses. And I would go in there just looking. And here's what every agent would say, oh, excuse me, sir, you look, they're a little snooty at that high end. Are you looking for a place like this? Remember, I said, here's what I said to him, brother, you love this. I said, yeah, watch this. Not that I had the money at that time. I said, I'm expecting, when a woman's pregnant, 9 months later, she's what? Expecting the baby. So I was they didn't know it. I'm expecting a windfall of money. So I played that routine. But their whole attitude changed. I remember the house I bought in Gold River. I never forget the man. I got out of my little SL Mercedes, little 2-seater. A friend of mine's girlfriend, we was dropping off, and I got out. This lady asked me, she said, well, she was a little snooty about, can you, the brand new houses in Gold River, Miss Williams, out there, where you? Brand new. And she had to fill out a little survey, what you name, address, phone number, and what you make. I never forget this. So I put what I made a month down. And her name was Joanne. I never get that woman. She was so snooty. She said, oh, you don't make enough to afford one of these houses. I said, no, ma'am, that's not monthly. I mean, that's not annual, that's monthly. Changed her attitude. I bought that house in Gold River. Sure did. Anyway, it just shows you. But the dream casting, the dream selling, the showing the potential. So, all right, chapter 2. Let's the grounds are manicured, the horses. We would like to own a place like this. So let's jump over for time's sake, jump to chapter 3, the secret revealed. So I want to ask Ms. Rutherford, what did you get out of this first couple pages here in chapter 3?
Well, what I got out of a lot of it was that where we choose to do our business is real important. They were talking about a comfortable workspace. And, the things that make you comfortable. Now, your friend had the cigar bar. This guy in this book had 1,000 books in his workspace. That's what he wanted. And then the fact of the honesty. The networker was asking the narrator, and he was forming him. And we on this call know what it is, but it's family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. What motivates you? And he was also helping this young man to realize his why. Because why do you want to succeed in this business? Why is that so important? So that's some of the things that I got out of that third chapter that nothing is perfect, but in its imperfection, it can be perfect for you.
Wow. Thank you, dear. Wow. I'm going to scoot over to page 23, top of the page. Both rooms were lined with paintings and full, overfilled books shelf. I've never seen so many books before. You're got quite a library, he observed. And then dropped down a little bit. He says, I love books. I love information of all kinds. Do you? Information is so important. And he says, he dropped down, says, of all the, you what you don't know, you don't know. He said, of all the books I've ever read, that's the most important book of all. Wow, Miss Kathleen Williams.
And it is the most important book of all. Not knowing, admitting you don't know what you don't know opens the mind up for learning. And the greatest networker realized he needed to learn. The other thing I picked up from these first 3 pages of this chapter is it was a lived-in home. It may have looked like an estate and a mansion, but it still had the feeling of a lived-in home.
With warmth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It was every space utilized to a point. It was very comfortable and not ostentatious. And it was beautifully warmth. And it had that feeling of every room you walked into was inviting. Yeah, that's very important. Some people's house you walk in is cold, but they talked about when you walk into a person's house, it tells you a little bit about themselves. Because when you walk in the house, to me, it's like you're walking into their heart.
That's right.
Yeah, that's powerful. Miss Jackie Black, what do you want to add to that?
And when you walk into someone's home, see a part of them, their likes, dislikes, and the atmosphere. How are you feeling when you walk in? Is it, like you said, is it inviting, which this one was,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't cold? And the part where he said, I love information of all kinds. All those books, I'm sure there wasn't on just one topic. Many talk about topics, geography, history, physics. I'm naming some things, especially physics. I don't like physics that much, but I read the books. And it's also saying, what you don't know that you don't know. So as the gentleman's looking around, he still has that book with him, those empty pages. And those are the ones he's going to be filling in. But right now he's seeing someone else's even dream. Like Miss Rutherford, I like to look at other people's television, beautiful. And, vision casting. What would I like? And even recently was saying how they were talking with someone and they took them to dirt. They took them to dirt. And they said, well, this is going to be over here. This is going to be over there. And they explained it in detail. And the man just shook his head. He said, I can't see this. But that person could see it. And that's what I was getting out of what came to mind in reading the first couple of pages.
Thank you, dear. You just brought back, I have one TV. Well, I only watch my TV. If you turn my TV on right now, it stays on one channel. $1 Million Homes. And I watch these people come buying these $1 Million homes, and you look at them and buy it saying 10 million, 12 million, $15 million homes. And some of these homes, Mr. Clemens and I go back and forth with these homes. It's amazing. See, that's for us. That's get another jet. But the homes, I don't watch anything else. My TV, that's the only channel I watch. I turn it on, turn it off. That's it. I don't care what's going on. I just got to get stimulated through that. So we all have something we need to increase our thoughts on. So anyway, and I'm gonna go back to the bottom of page 23 for you, Mr. Harrison Mills. In Japan, many years ago, he had brought traditional Buddha monks and traveled to the monasteries and seeking the teaching of the masters. I mean, he's went all over the world. And I thought about that, and I thought about, the traveling, going around different parts of the world to travel, to see different things and bring back things. When you get around wealthy people, you see they bring back different things from different parts of the world that they've been, treasures they bring back, this treasure, and put them in their home. It's like, their home is almost like a museum. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Mr. Mills.
Yeah. Well, the one thing it sounds like, let me first just thank you, ladies. Thank you, all you, because you're honestly helping me out. I'm still expecting a book. Okay. I'm still expecting that book. So to put it this way, to say this, what you don't know that you what you don't know that you don't know. And then he's like, oh, now that's the one. This, that, so and so. I was still like this, sir. Just say what you're trying to say, kind of thing. And this is, mind you, the name of this chapter is Secret Revealed, So he says it without saying it, that honestly, he's saying that was the best, all the books he's ever read. That's the most important one of all. Meaning, you are the book. You are the most important one, the book, right? But then he goes into this monk who is basically, he knows it all. I've done it all. I got this, so and so forth. And finally, this monk, the one he's going to go teach, the most wise one he's going to go talk to, he finally just says, your cup is already full. There's nothing I can teach you. He just, all of a sudden, he just pours it in. And he's like, what are you doing? And it just overflows. He's like, you know it all. There's nothing else I can teach you. You got it all, which means this. You never stop learning. There's always room for growth. There's always, and sometimes it's emptying the pages all over again. Let's start with a clean slate. Let's start all over again,
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. I have a saying, school is never out for the professional. The day you think you know it all, let me give you something. You think you know something. If you think you know it all, let me give you something. Go visit a library and it'll show you how much you really don't know. Isn't that amazing? Ladies and gentlemen, we had a great session tonight. I just want to thank Ms. Rutherford for being on here, Ms. Kathy Williams. I'll see you Saturday when I come to Sacramento. Ms. Jackie Black, thank you in Connecticut. Ms. Harrison Mills down in Fresno. Thank you all for being on the book club tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called The Greatest the Greatest Networker in the World. We'll be back here next Monday night, same bat time, same bat channel. That's Batman. We'll be back here at 6 o'clock again, live. So bring your friends, bring your family. Get the book. One of the places, get the book I found is a place called ABE Books. You can get these books for a few dollars because they're used books. Really great place to get some good books. And I tell you what, come study the book with us because you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And who knows, you need to get booked and start writing what you want for your life in 2026. With that said, let's do this real quickly. Everybody give me a word in closing real quick before we close out. Ms. Rutherford, we'll start with you with Ms. Williams and Ms. Black and then Mr. Mills, and I'll close it out. A word in closing for what the first 3 chapters of this book is for you tonight.
Well, it's what you don't know. And Mr. Thomas, hold your second book up, please. Listen, that's the best book to give somebody that you say you love. If you do Valentine's Day, if you do any day, go get that book because it's about the mindset. Even if you never go into entrepreneurship, go get that book. That's all I got to say.
I love it. Great. It's great. A great gift for Valentine's Day. Exactly. For 20 bucks, I tell people for 20 bucks, you can buy 30 years of my knowledge for 20 bucks. That's dirt cheap. I had to go live it for 30 years, but you get to do it in a couple hours. You get it for 20.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The value in that. Thank you so much, dear. I appreciate you so much. Ms. Williams?
Insight and insight and recognition when it was like you could see the light slowly coming on.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Miss Jackie Black?
What I got out of this book so far is this is the beginning. And take the time to go through the pages, Mr. Thomas. Because I read the first one, God's Gift. This one here, as you go page by page, you're getting a wealth of knowledge. Just as we're going page by page with the greatest network in the world. And take from it and learn and apply. Don't just say, oh, that's a good book. Are you applying what you're learning? Are you reading it to learn something?
Well, thank you, dear. I appreciate you. And last and certainly not least, down in Fresno, the great Mr. Harrison Mills. Sir.
Hey, well, thank you all. My cup is full today. So thank you. And I think it really just got one question for me, which I think everyone's question should be, what is your story?
Mm.
What is my story? And I think that is an open-ended question that he's asking. And it gives you a moment to do this, create. And so that's what I will be doing.
Great. Well, I'm happy to see you got past the book being empty.
I know.
Page has been empty. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you from around the world for tuning in. We'll be back next Monday with chapter 4, 5, and 6 next Monday. Come join us, get the book, leave a comment below, and we'll also leave a link below where you can go to Amazon and pick up my book that just came out right here. We would greatly appreciate it. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for joining us. We hope you got something out of it. And most important, like Mr. Mills says, write your story because it needs to be heard. Thank you all for joining tonight. Take care. God bless. And we'll see everybody next week. God bless.
Bye-bye.